existing designs component of your timber portfolio. Now, if we're looking at the timber scaffold, looking at the sample that I've provided you with, we're in project design and management phase. We've already proposed our project. We know what we're planning to make at this stage. We don't know what it's going to look like, but we know what the product's going to be. For this example, I am going to tell you that my statement of intent says I am making a bedside table. So with that in mind, let's get into section 1 of project design and management, which is existing designs. Now, the criteria here says conduct research into existing products in the market that meet the client's brief. You should include images accompanied with detailed annotations of the characteristics and features that you think you like, that you want to include in your project. Likewise, you could annotate it with features you don't like that you don't want to include in your project, e.g., things you want to keep, things you want to lose. So, the guide here is approximately 2 to 3 pages. Two pages would sort of be the minimum here. You could very easily fill this out to 5 pages if you needed to. Now, as with all parts of the research, you're going to realize this throughout other videos. When we do any amount of research, the magic number I want you to think of is 5. 5 existing designs. Let's get started. So, into my folio document, I've got my heading here. I'm in this part of my folio. There's my subheading. I'm working in existing designs. Now I need to start actually getting those existing designs. So I need to start conducting research into what bedside tables already exist on the market. So I've gone into Google, I've gone to Google Images, and I've searched bedside tables. Here they are, heaps of them. Go nuts. My advice to you here is that when you Google on Google Images or just on regular Google and you do bedside tables, you are probably going to get mass-produced furniture coming from major furniture companies. And this is completely evident in this search that I've got loaded here. Amart Furniture, Temple & Webster, Myer, Snooze, West Elm, 40 Winks, Kmart. Nothing here is bespoke. If you are specifically looking for customized bedside tables, add in the word bespoke to try and get away from those mainstream brands, because that's when you're going to find things that are potentially a little bit more interesting. The other thing that I would say is there are better places to do research for timber products than always going to Google. Number 1, have a look at some magazines. There's a fantastic magazine called the Australian Wood Review. We have a subscription. There's a couple magazines in our classroom. Have a flick through, see if there's some cool designs in there. Secondly, have a look on Pinterest. Pinterest is where you're going to find things that are a little bit more out of the ordinary. Now, it would help if I could spell. But start thinking about some of the characteristics and features that you already know you want to include, and include those in your search terms. Maybe you want to look for bent tables. Okay, there we go. Maybe you want to look for round tables. Maybe you want to look for round tables with a drawer. So add in whichever keywords you think are going to get you the images. When you're thinking about the 5 existing designs that you're going to include in your folio, don't pick this image if the reality is you have no intention of making a table that is made completely from mirror. Because there's nothing in here relevant that you can apply to your project. And that really is the key part of doing your research into those existing designs. So I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to pick something that I'm a little bit more interested in. This one here, for example, I think that's quite cool. So I'm going to have a good close look at it. I might even do a bit of a copy of this image. Okay. So that might mean, here we go, let's get a screenshot in. And then I'm going to jump into my folio here and I'm going to put my image in to start with. There it is. There are better ways to get images into your folio other than screenshot, but just for today's project, that's what I'm going to be working with. So here we are, got my sample image in there. Now, what did the question say? Conduct research into existing products, tick. Include an image, tick, with detailed annotations. Don't have that yet. How do I do detailed annotations? Look, there are a couple of ways that we can consider annotations to be done in a detailed way. Firstly, insert, drawing, new. It's going to open the drawing up, paste your image, use your little arrow tool, draw your arrows to the features that you like, whatever they might be. Use your text box, add in some information. No draw at top for extra support. Small handle profile for sleek design. Complementary colors with the Timbers grain. Okay, whatever those characteristics and features are that you've got. Remember though that when we go back here, it says with detailed annotations that you would like to include in your project. So don't just do very basic stuff like this. Add in details about are you going to include that or not include that in your folio. And if you don't have a comment either way, don't add that annotation in. This could be used to help prevent my own bedside tables from looking too mainstream. Custom-made handles from the same timber species the project is made from instead of the typical metal handles. Okay, so I've actually now added in a little bit more detail, a little bit of justification into why I've actually added this annotation in. Okay, more information you've got, the better. Save and close that, and there's an example of how you can do it. Now, the problem with using that sort of system, it can end up looking a little bit ugly because see how the fonts are different sizes, and more importantly, there are rules that say your folio needs to be made from a size 12 font. And that font there, even though it was size 12 in the drawing, when it's then shrunk down to fit on the page, actually appears a little bit smaller. So it's no longer the appropriate size. So it's something I want to avoid. Let's have a look at how another student's done it. So here's a sample of research of existing design ideas conducted by one of our students. This student got very, very close to 100% for their folio when they handed it in. So this is another fantastic sample we can use. To give you a bit of context, this student is making a display case for their customer, specifically to display model cars. So they've got a whole heap of those. You know, this really nice, large size scale model of model cars. Okay, they've got those. They've got a heap of them. They want to have a cabinet to display them. So they've gone and researched existing images, and then they've got positives and negatives. They've just done a PN chart to analyze the characteristics and features. Notice that they haven't just done single word annotations. They are using full sentences usually to add extra details. And then at the very bottom of each page is a text box that's a completely different color. So it's really obvious to me when I'm looking at it, really obvious to anyone reading your folio, where your evaluation is, where your justification is. And this is where you say, why did I include this design? How does it actually help me in the creation of my own bedside table or my own, in this case, car display cabinet? And have a look at the words that are being used. The overall design of this cabinet with one large drawer and several shelves meets the client's needs. The dovetail joint should also be carried over to the designs for the client's display cabinet, as they are both functional and aesthetically pleasing, displaying craftsmanship in the workshop. So this student has said, I like this design. I like that there's lots of shelves with big glass windows. I also like that there's still a drawer to put some other bits and bobs. But I really like that there are dovetail joints in here that show the craftsmanship of the project. So it's not just about the function, there's a little bit of aesthetic character in there as well. And they really want to carry that into their own design. Now, sneak peek forward, how does this research of his existing designs fit in? Well, when they go and do their sketches, I'm just going to flick forward to sketches. They've actually got sketches here, shelves, drawer at the bottom, examples of dovetail, all built into their annotations. Now, I don't want to give the ending away, but let's have a look at what they actually made. There's the SketchUp model. See how similar it is to the existing designs? Not the same, but similar. That's because the research into existing designs helped them come up with their own designs. They've used the idea of multiple shelves. They've used the idea of a square profile cabinet, many shelves, single drawer, lots of glass. They've used those designs, customized it, and tweaked it into their own final design that they then produced to meet the client's needs. So when we're talking about existing designs, we're talking about how can we get this image and prove that it was relevant to us to research, and what can we add to our project? Insert tables, do a positive and negative chart. Add in at the bottom, another table, justification. Why did I research this? Okay. Again, got a couple of these little tutorials going around. Spend some time formatting it. Make sure it matches your theme. Have a think about whether you need your lines to be black or whether you could actually consider using some other colors to try and break it up a little bit. Whoops. Do you even need the borders at all? Are the borders adding any value? Can I center my text? Can I present it using dot points? Okay. Have a think about how you lay this information out. And remember, you need to find existing designs that are interesting and relevant to your project, and you need to do a range, so a minimum of 5. Good luck. I hope you enjoy doing the existing design research. I certainly love looking at other people's projects. Make it relevant, make it useful. If you need any help, just let me know. Thanks very much.